Hola, hola, hola. Ahora sí te veo. En mute, pero te veo. Conectada.
Aquí estoy, vale.
Ya te veo.
Ay, qué complicado todo eso.
Qué raro, ¿por qué habrá sido eso?
Sí.
Bueno, vamos a ver qué tanto. Ayer bueno, tenemos una sesión de breathing,
Ajá.
respiración, y al final la chica que facilitaba no se pudo conectar. Bueno, se quedó sin internet, se le cayó internet.
¿Me escuchas?
Yo sí.
Ah, ok, porque aquí dice que mi micrófono no funciona, pero bueno, entonces sí funciona.
Sí, de hecho te voy a hacer, mira, ahora te voy a dar superpoderes. Ah, a ver, se puede hacer host. Vamos a ver. Veamos, ahí. ¿Esto qué es? No fue coronavirus, ¿no?
No, 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 eso ya tengo un rato.
Veo enorme, no se llegan. Problema.
Hello.
Hello.
Ay.
And now we can do this in Spanish if you want. Not now.
You
Not
keep
anymore.
changing your background.
Ah,
I will do
big guy there is, well, it's part of the happiness festival. It's one of the official.
nice, nice, nice.
Let's wait for, well, it's still early, no? No, it's 6. Okay, we have Mareike, we have the presenter today. I was telling her that yesterday the facilitator had issues with the sound, and then she lost completely the internet connection. So, so we were trying to spread some calm, and it was not for her, unfortunately. But she's recording the session, so tomorrow basically we're going to have a recorded session. And today, well, as a matter of fact, in order to ensure that everybody can see this, the first part, that is the speech, the conference, is going to be also played in YouTube. And I'm going to share with everybody the link, because in some places, well, I'm watching this well, and some people can watch this well, but depending on the connections, it seems like with Zoom and YouTube, this is not working very well. So if you want to follow this in YouTube, it's an alternative, and we will reconnect in 30 minutes after starting this, and well, to continue the conversation and the Q&A session. But we're going to be here this 30 minutes, as mentioned, broadcasting this, and this will allow more people to join. But in any case, let me share with you, because well, if you want this, share in the chat. This is the link for the first part of the session today. In case that when I start presenting this, you cannot follow very well. Okay. And what else? Well, let's start. Let's wait 2 more minutes, and at 6:05 we can start.
Did you share with the chat? Paco? Because I didn't receive anything via the
Yeah,
chat.
me neither.
Well, how come? I can. Let me, for some reason, it's like that. It's in the Zoom group chat, huh? So, don't address. Have you opened the chat?
Yeah.
Nothing there.
Now we can see your screen. You are sharing your screen. No?
Yeah. But here in part of my screen is the chat. So now.
Now yes. Now yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. As a matter of fact, if you want to start watching that, this is how we are going to do it. Okay, but well, let me tell you, I'm Paco Briseño, so I'm co-organizer and co-host of the Agora in Luxembourg. That well, initially it was planned to be a live event next Saturday, but well, the logistics and the virus has changed our plans. And with well, our generous speakers, we are transforming that that event into online sessions. So well, all the sessions are going to be recorded because our idea is, well, now that we are living this this time that is complicated, is new, it's historic as well, but well, we want to share and to communicate and spread some calm and happiness. So that's the idea. So we're going to have several sessions this week. Today related to the to happiness at work. Tomorrow we are going to have the breathing session that also, in fact, we are going to share the recording version of the breathing session. On Thursday, we're going to talk about well-being with Yelena, that is today with us as well. On Friday, we are going to share some guided meditations as well. We are going to have, as a matter of fact, guided meditations in different languages, but we are going to communicate that in the different channels as we are doing in LinkedIn, Facebook, also the Happiness Festival as well. That is helping us to spread the word. This is the agile version of this, and well, today, as I mentioned, well, we're going to have Mark talking about the happiness at work. She is a chief happiness officer, as a matter of fact, and she is dedicating professionally to teach or work with organizations to transform into a better organization. In particular, well, looking to become happy organizations, that is including, well, their business, their operations, and for sure the people that is at the end, well, who are making the business inside and outside, no? Employees and clients and partners, providers, etc. But well, she's going to tell us more about this. So well, we have been told that there are different issues with the internet in several places. So as I mentioned, we are going to do the first part by watching the recording speech, and the second half of the session is going to be directly with Mar on well, answering questions. So before moving to the speech, maybe Mark, you want to tell the audience a little bit more about you, and then we can start sharing the video.
Sorry, I missed the first part. You were a little cut off.
No, yeah. Well, if you want to tell us something about you and your work and what we are going to watch.
Okay, yeah, so basically the recording that you can look at on YouTube is about a little bit, I mean, the speech is called The Revolution of Work. So basically I'm talking about the evolution, where we came from, where we are right now, and where we're going to, so the future of work. and with the future of work as well, like the revolution of work, because the workplace is changing, and especially now with the coronavirus, when everybody has to work from home, things are changing a lot and rapidly. And I think once the crisis is over, a lot of companies will as well implement working from home, new technologies, etc., to continue being flexible. So basically my presentation is a little bit about the past, the present, and then most importantly the future of work, and as well the happiness at work.
Okay, so if you're okay, we are going to move to the video. Again, the video is in the chat if you want to follow there in case that you are not watching this correctly. So feel free to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do this. And let me now share my screen here.
And to adapt to it, because it's the way to go, actually. Other challenging things are the revolution of happiness at work. So I'll talk about that for like around half an hour. And if you have any questions, just type away in the chat. And after the presentation, I will answer as many questions as possible. So feel free to ask anything you have questions about, ideas, or anything you would love to discuss after the presentation. So, the revolution of happiness at work. Basically, this presentation will be a journey of where we came from, where we are right now, and where we're going to work-wise and happiness-wise. And due to the situation, I'm going to talk as well about work and happiness in difficult times. So, first a little bit about me. I'm originally from Berlin, Germany, but I'm living in Madrid right now because I consider myself a seeker and a lifelong learner, and I figured out that staying in the same city, in the same country, will not really help me being a seeker and learner. So having said that, I moved to Stockholm, and I lived there for a couple of years, then to Barcelona, Buenos Aires, Mexico City, and as I said, now I'm here in Madrid working as a certified life coach and as a consulting, creating companies that people love. What do I mean by this? Well, my work revolves around helping companies to create company cultures and employee experiences, which is basically the whole life circle an employee has at a company, from attracting to hiring to retaining, development, and then, of course, at some point, the separation. So I focus on the people in the companies and, of course, their well-being, or in other words, their happiness. So I would say, let's dive in, and thanks again for tuning in. So before we talk about the revolution, we should have a quick review of the evolution of happiness at work. So how was work in the past? Way back, we had the slaves. I mean, I don't think I have to talk too much about happiness of the slaves, so basically inexistent. Then we take a big jump and go to the post-war times to be a little bit closer to where we are right now. So post-war was a difficult time, of course. We had to rebuild the country, and times were tough. So there were many factory workers and a lot of jobs that were like merely dull, but the importance was to have a secure job, to be able to provide. But because it was about like providing and safety, happiness wasn't really involved, but it wasn't about happiness. So from post-war to now, a lot has changed. Because now we have many modern slaves in the working world, voluntarily and involuntarily. So modern slaves, what do I mean when I talk about modern slaves? I mean, I'm talking basically about people that have to provide for their families or have other responsibilities. And so they basically don't really have an option to quit or change their jobs. And they have to endure the circumstances at work. So that makes them slaves in a certain sense. And there are other people that are slaves to their career. So they have this great career path, and they're planning on who they want to be in 3, 5, 10 years. And they're a little enslaved by their career plans because they know that if I want to get there, if I, for instance, want to climb the is health issues. This can be headaches or very typically lower back pain, but as well as to burn out or as well bore out. I don't know if you know what bore out is. It's basically the complete opposite of burnout. It means that you're so bored at your job that you get stressed and that you as well get like sick because you're so bored at work. There's nothing challenging, nothing exciting. So all these are things that can happen in a stressful environment, which the working environment is stressful, to be honest. And not to forget, in many jobs, when you go to work and you enter the building, you basically leave your personality at the doorstep. You have to perform, you have to do tasks, you have to be professional, as I said. But it's not very human. It's more like being a machine. You do your job and then you walk out and then you're free to live the life. But the work life and the private life or personal life of everybody, very often they're not really in sync. So this is also a difficult topic because people have to be someone else at work and be themselves at work because for whatever reason it might not be accepted. So basically what many of us do is we pursue our careers at the expense of a lot of things that can be family, friends, certain values you have that your company might not have. Health, of course, and what the happiness is about, well, happiness. It's like how many people are really happy and thriving at work. I mean, this is still a huge problem. So it basically means if I'm not happy at work, if I'm not thriving at work, that the hopes and dreams that I have as a person, I leave them behind. It's just like, okay, it was a nice dream. I wanted to be this and I wanted to do that. But in the end, I cannot do it because of the circumstances. I have to provide or I have to pursue this career. It's really tough. Once I'm on the top, then I can enjoy. You know, that's what people hope for. But very often it's not like that. So there is this saying kind of that I really like. It goes a little bit like that. So if you have a tree and you give the tree space and sun and water, every tree will grow as big and as tall as possible. Because, you know, as long as they can, they'll do that. They just grow and grow and grow if nothing happens. But we humans, we could as well grow and grow and grow, because there's so many things we can learn and achieve and fulfill our dreams. But for whatever reasons, we kind of give up and say, like, okay, life's like this, the situation's like this, there's nothing really I can do about it. So they forget about that. We're like trees. We could grow as big and as high as we wanted, but for whatever reasons, we cut off the water or the sun and just stay in a certain size, in a certain state, and not go on growing and living and enjoying. And I think that's basically what happiness is about, especially happiness at work, to grow, to evolve, to challenge yourself, and to enjoy. I mean, we're working a lot. So yeah, that's a situation for many people at work. But luckily, there are many people that just realize that this career path is not for them. It's like, I cannot work in a corporate world where I can't be me, or where I have to sacrifice my family or my happiness. So there are many people that decide to quit their jobs and start as a freelancer or start their own little company. And it was basically the same with me. So when I still lived in Berlin, I studied design, and I was very ambitious, and I had big dreams about my career in advertising. So after I finished my university, I started to work, and pretty soon I realized that the environment is not really what I was expecting. So everything was just very competitive. There are a lot of elbows, a lot of pressure, very, very long hours of work, and very little pay. And I mean, working in design, working in a creative career path, if you're under a lot of pressure, if you're under a lot of stress, it's very, very difficult to feel inspired and to enjoy work. So what happened is just I just felt my creativity like melt away. Like I was losing my creativity, I was losing my inspiration, and it was more like an autopilot, going to work, doing the work, going home, day after day after day. And I as well felt like health issues. So in the end, at my first job, I had a burnout. So I had to take off a couple of weeks from work because I couldn't take it anymore. I was really not well. And after that, I started working again, but I saw that this year I don't have a future here. I don't have a future here. So I decided to start another company, which didn't work out either. So I kind of realized I'm not cut out for office work, for being like prey for many superiors in terms of how they treat you, how they talk to you. It was really, it was not very healthy, this environment. So ever since I've been a freelancer, living in different cities, in different countries, exploring, learning, and also changing my career path. So I left advertising behind and basically went to the other side of the table, and now I'm not working in companies, I'm working for companies, and I'm serving the people in the companies, which I feel is something very fulfilling because you can actually make a change. So yes, so there are many people like me, of course I'm not the only one, who just felt, okay, it's time to make a change. and to make a difference. And I want to be healthy, I want to be happy. And maybe if you have a small company, you want your employees to be happy. So you take care of them, you treat them well, and you seek self-fulfillment. And talking about self-fulfillment, who is big in self-fulfillment? Yes, the millennials. So who are these millennials and why are they bringing the revolution to work? Well, right up now, the millennials are the driving force in the workplace. They're about 50% of all the employees in the world, and by 2030 they'll be up to 75%. So they will bring a huge change to the workplace, which I know the millennials don't have the best reputation. But let me tell you, in the context of work, millennials really are the hope for happiness at work, because the millennials are, that's what they say, the best educated and the best prepared generation we ever had. They're very techy because they grew up with mobile phones and iPads and internet and all that. And since they are so well educated and very well equipped when it comes to modern technology, they are a little picky because they can be. So they're not seeking necessarily the super career or a huge paycheck. What they're really looking for, or many of them, of course, not all of them, is they seek self-fulfillment. They want to be happy, they want to be fulfilled, which means that a person who is seeking self-fulfillment has certain values. And in terms of work, it means I want to work in a company that has the same values as I have. I want to do meaningful work, and I want the company to be socially conscious, and equality as well. Racial or gender equality is as well a big issue. So with these modern mindsets and these values, of course, if a company wants to attract or retain a millennial, they have to put a little bit of effort in it, which I think is great, because that's where we're coming now to the future of work. So the future of work, in my opinion, is made of basically two components. It's the companies and it's us as employees. So let's start with the companies. So if a company wants to have top talent, as we say, they have to put a little bit of effort in that, because they have to create an environment that is inviting and that feels like I want to work for this company. This is a good company. And they mostly do that, or can achieve that, through a company culture, a healthy company culture. So what is a healthy company culture? I mean, I'm not talking about the classic fruit basket and maybe a gym pass. It's, of course, these are great things, but that doesn't make a healthy company culture. That's just maybe some benefits. It's nice to have. But there are a couple of things that are very important to create, have, and maintain, of course, a company culture. One of them is you have to treat your employees as adults. What do I mean by this? We're adults, we're grown-up people, and we don't need to be controlled. So giving your employees trusting in them that they can do their work and that they will do their work is something very, very important to thrive at work. And as well to recognize and treat your employees as humans. We're all humans. We have fears, we have dreams, we have values. We're not machines. So it's very important that even if revenue and performance and all these things are very important, that we don't forget that we're all humans and we're not perfect. So that, and of course creating common goals. So the curse of the working world is low engagement. People go to work, they kind of do their job, but they're not really engaged. So what's very important is that the company creates common goals with the employee, which means the company needs to create and implement and most of all live values the company shares, the mission the company has, and the vision the company has, to create a bond with the employee and as well to attract other potential employees who think like, okay, these values, this mission really resonates with me. I want to be a part of that. And when I talk about implementing and living it, I really mean from bottom to the top. It's very, very important that even the CEO or the owner of the company, that they are actively involved. It's not a thing just about the employees. Everybody has to be involved. And if and when everybody is on board, you can really create an environment of trust and of great teams. And even more important, when everybody is on board with the mission and the vision of the company, you can help your employees grow. I mean, nowadays, who wants to enter in a company, do a job, and then maybe when you leave the company, or maybe even when you retire in a couple of many years, be at the same job, do the same things. So it's really important that, I talked about the trees and they grow as tall and big as they can. So it's very important that the company is there for you, is there with you, and, for example, creates career plans and does trainings, further education, and team building. So you grow together as a company, but as well you grow as an individual. You work on your skills, you improve your skills, and you can follow your talents. So all these things all together, that's basically what creates a great company culture. But, well, okay, so now I talked about the company, but the company is made of employees. So we cannot just say, okay, it's the company's responsibility to create a company culture and I just go to work. That's it. Of course not. So the other part of thriving at work and be happy at work is, of course, us as an employee, or maybe for you if you have a small company, and you don't have all these company culture and all these huge things, but still, I mean, as an employer, you as well treat your employees in a certain way. So what I think is very important for small companies and as well for employees when you come to work is, and also act accordingly, to understand the importance of your health. You need to understand that always giving more than you can will not lead you anywhere, because health is very important. And who wants to thrive and be happy at work has to be healthy. If you're not healthy, I think it's very, very difficult to be happy. So, take care of your health. If your company offers certain programs or the gym pass or food basket, these things, take advantage of it. Like, eat healthy, stay healthy, and in the end, stay happy. Another aspect is that you have the right to be treated like a human being and with respect. But as well, you have the duty to treat your co-workers and other people with respect. Because one thing that happens if you're not happy at work, that your self-esteem suffers. And if your self-esteem suffers for a long time, there are many problems involved. This can be, frustration, anger, which would be maybe high blood pressure, but as well depression. And we all know how dangerous and severe depression can be. So if you're at a job and they treat you very poorly, or they're like mobbing you and whatever, this is something you really, really have to take seriously. And also to ask yourself if it's really worth it, and if there isn't like another option for you. Because here I am talking about health, so that's very important. And in the company, you're not alone. So you always have co-workers and work with them, like build teams, help each other, support each other, talk to each other. I mean, it's a little bit like your work family. So yeah, be with them and support them and motivate them, and yeah, create a happy environment, because happiness starts within ourselves, and we can spread it and help others to be more happy. Or if they're troubles or problems, you can as well offer your help to solve or to be a part of the solution. So this is another thing that's very important, because I think that right now work isn't really incorporated into your life cycle. For many people, it's just like, I have my weekends and I have my evenings with my family or with my cat, my dog, whomever, and I enjoy that very much. But then in the morning, I have to go to work. So many people living for Friday, and I think this has to change. I think with all the different professions and options we have, life should really be integrated into the life circle, which means I'm happy to go to work. I'm happy to be at work, and I enjoy it because I have a great time there. I do a great job, and I grow, I learn, I evolve. So yeah, I think about creating happy company cultures. These are like the two sides of the story that I think that are very important. That the company does its best, but as well we as the employees and co-workers, that we also support the vision and the mission of having happy companies and being happy and enjoying work. And now, due to the current situation, I want to talk a little bit about work in difficult times. So difficult times can be for people that are, I would say even my age and a little bit older, is the digital transformation. We didn't grow up with internet and mobile phones and all that. So since the technology is advancing very, very fast, it can be difficult for many to shift their mindsets and their skills, and they can be scared. So I think it's very important to open up to new technology, to see the many great things it can bring into our lives, and to adapt to it, because it's the way to go, actually. Other challenging things are situations in crisis like the coronavirus. It's scary because of the economy that is crashing. We're kind of switching to survival mode. There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of stress. So an important thing is to manage your stress, to maybe meditate, or right now not, but going for a walk, keep calm, be creative, be positive, and really work on your mindset, because even if the crisis is very difficult for many, there are also great opportunities. So I think when we're creative, when we're positive, we can find solutions that can lift us from this crisis and from this state of being scared and this uncertainty. So basically, I think try to find the good thing in the bad thing. It's like yin and yang, like everything that happens maybe might not be good, but if you search and if you look into it, you'll find something good. And then stick to the good thing and work with it. And of course, as I said when I talked about the company cultures, it's about us. I mean, you're not alone in it. We're all in it. But in today's society, we're a lot of lonely wolves fighting against each other, competing with each other. And I think in times of crisis, our societies should realize that we are social beings. We are all in it together, and we should act accordingly, and not like me, but more like us, we, how can we help? How can I help? And to be a little bit more generous and helpful, because if you want to get somewhere, it's a lot easier if we do it together than if we do it alone. So basically, yeah, that's how I'm ending my presentation, with the appeal to teamwork, to be a generous, loving society, help each other, because if we're doing this together, things will be a lot easier than if you do it alone. So I hope you enjoyed it, and now I think we're gonna jump into the questions. Okay, thank you.
That's it. Yeah, thanks, Mark, for the presentation. And I've seen some questions now waiting for you. So
Yes.
I think that the first one is related to the last part of the presentation, right? How to deal with this situation that by now, 15 days are expected. Well, one question first. I think that we all speak Spanish, as a matter of fact. Is that true, Vega? ¿Hablamos todos español?
Yeah, please comment in the chat.
Yeah. We have Lucia now with us. Hi, Lucia.
Yes, hi. Hi, Becca. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Okay, so maybe Mark, you want to start answering that, and we can well, it's a conversation, so feel free to join the conversation. But maybe Mark, you can start.
Yes. So there was a question from Eduardo, who asked, how can you be happy at work these days when you're working from home? Eduardo, could you specify that question a little bit? Is there like a specific thing you're struggling with, like this working from home, so I can be more specific and giving you some ideas maybe? That would be great. No.
Eduardo, maybe you're in mute.
Yeah, maybe unmute the rest.
I think that you can unmute yourself, huh? Because it was centrally.
Yes. So basically, my question is, for many of us.
We can barely hear you.
Can you hear me better now?
No.
No. Okay, I'm gonna write it down.
Yes, please.
Just a comment at my end. I think that, as a matter of fact, well, there are a lot of things that can be done at the organization level. No? So I think that one of the lessons learned for a lot of companies that were not prepared to work remotely, that also depending on the business, right? But I think that will be something that could be prepared better, no? For sure, the logistics, the infrastructure for this, and the possibility of working remotely, no? And well, be prepared with trainings for the employees with different tools, being prepared with the quality of the network. I know some companies that are working remotely, but the VPN is not working well for them. So, well, there's a lot that can be done. Well, for sure, starting with defining clear goals and objectives for the people, no, and defining correctly their roles, and ensuring that they are equipped and prepared to do that. No, and again, depending on the business, but there are a lot of cases. Okay, Eduardo has written, for many of us who are used to work at the office, what would you recommend us to do to keep up the motivation while working at home?
Yeah, well, of course, like motivation is a big topic when you're working from home, because usually you're in your routine, you get up in the morning, you have breakfast, you go to work, you are at work. And as I said, we're social beings. So of course, even if you maybe not get along with all of your colleagues, but there are colleagues you're looking forward to see and to chat, or if you have a problem with something, or you know, you can ask. So you see other people. So of course, right now, since we're as well in a situation of like isolation, you can't even after work go for a drink or whatever. It's very difficult to keep up the motivation. So the general recommendation is that even if you're working from home, that you basically keep up your routine, which means you get up at the same time, you have breakfast, you get ready, you even dress as if you go to work, and then start working. And of course, like Paco, what you said, many companies, because it happened so fast, they couldn't really implement real like home working plans. So everyone has to watch out for him or herself to find solutions. But my recommendation for motivation at work would be that you try to have something like messengers in the company, like Slack and other, where you can do groups and you can chat with each other, maybe send some pictures, motivate each other, and also do group calls of your team to talk about the goals or talk about some tasks. And just keep up the motivation, have some like human interaction, even if it's just by voice, or maybe you can use like the camera, which would be great. You see each other, and so to motivate each other, because I understand that if you from one day to another start working from home, it's very difficult to stay motivated. But yeah, try to motivate each other. Do things that, like have a nice cup of tea or prepare a nice lunch at work, and as well, I mean, it's just for a couple of weeks, hopefully. So that's some recommendations as well. Depending on your work, you could listen to music in your lunch break, maybe do some meditation, and really focus on the goal here, the goal that the work sets, and as well the goal to kind of have the best time possible working from home and being alone. So yeah, basically there would be some recommendations to make it as entertaining and fun as possible, and to be as involved as possible with your team co-workers. And yeah, basically that. I don't know if you have any other questions concerning the working at home topic or the motivation. Just type away or ask.
Yeah, Mar, yesterday we were saying that well, there's a lot now about social distance, no, and but maybe the power of words is something to be considered, because I think that we really need to maintain some physical distance, but there are a lot of opportunities to improve, as a matter of fact, social distance. I was in a call previously with an elder woman, no? And she said, well, it is fantastic, no? Well, it's true that now I'm here alone at home, but I'm receiving a lot of calls from people that I haven't talked with them in months. So, well, it's that we need to find those opportunities, no? And in the work space, I think that well, if we are managers, or well, as one of our teammates, well, we need to ensure that we are keeping that contact. No? It's important we have the technology, and after some days that you are using these kind of tools like Zoom or Skype or Microsoft Teams or whatever, well, you are feeling that you are connected, no? And well, that's something to use. It's just to try, and get used to this, focus in the work, try to get rid of all the bunch of information that is not useful, and in particular dosify yourself on the virus information, because it's true that the media is sending a lot on that. No? They are monothematic.
Yes, that's true. I think this is like about motivation in general. This is like, there are some things I would recommend in general. So earlier I talked about all like the bad sides of a crisis, but as well that there are good things about everything bad, basically. And I mean, I see it a lot right now with friends and kind of co-workers or other people that are like panicking, and they're like complaining and worrying, and they're just sending all these videos and info and all. It's just like a huge, I think that's a pandemic, like all this like panicking that's going on. And for me, what I'm doing is I stop reading all these chats and all these Facebook posts and all these things, because they are not really helping the motivation. They make it worse. They confuse you. There's so much information out there that is simply not true. And you go crazy if you follow all of that. So I check some news like once a day, and official news, not like some Facebook post some person created, and then that's it. And the time we're kind of winning right now, because we're not out with our friends having drinks, we can now actually use to schedule calls with friends that maybe live in other cities and other countries, families. I think it's, if I'm like commenting on the positive side of the situation right now, I think it's a great opportunity to slow down, take care of yourself, and as well talk to people you usually not talking to, because it's this thing, you never have time. I never have time for this, I never have time for that. But now actually you have more time, or most of us have more time. So I would totally recommend to reconnect with people you usually not talk to so much. So, and even your friends that live in the same city, you can call them, you can do video calls, you can have a glass of wine and chatting. I mean, of course, it's not the same as meeting someone in a bar or in a cafe, but I mean, that's the situation. It's there. I think there's no use in complaining about it and not being okay. I think if we embrace the situation, accept the situation, and make the best of it, then it's not that bad, because we're healthy. We're still healthy. The only thing is that we're not allowed to go out. But thanks to modern technology, we can call, we can WhatsApp, we can Skype, we can Zoom, we can write emails. There are so many options. It's just to like sit down and maybe think about whom am I not talking to, whom am I missing, and just reconnect. And I think with that, you're probably busy for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. We have one more question from Yelena. Some of that,
Yes.
what are the strategies and actions you suggest to companies to implement to make their employees happier, and how do they get accountable for those actions?
Yelena, you asked this question before I talked about the company culture and all these things. Do you have a questions like specifically, or did I answer your question without knowing?
Yeah, so a little bit specific. So what are the strategies, that if you go, for example, and consult the company, so what would you offer? Because of course, those are like generic things, but do you offer like any specific exercises, and then how do they accountable? Okay, we've done this and that. What are the usual approach that you do with the companies?
Yeah, well, the usual approach is that you meet with probably human resources, and you ask a little bit about the current situation, what's going on, what are their like pain points, to get an idea what they think is going on in the the company and what they think needs to be fixed. And then usually what you do like a survey, or you do interviews with the employees or the directors of the departments, and prepare questions and ask questions to see what's really going on. Because sometimes the C-level thinks, okay, I have it figured out, I know exactly what the problem is. But when you talk to the employees, you find out that that's not actually the problem. So there is no one fits at all. It's basically you go into the company, you talk to the people in charge, the people that actually hired you, and then you start talking to the people that work in the company to get a good overview. And then you see what the problem is and find solutions. You know, it can be that they say like the pay is really bad and we work really hard, we never get a thank you, or they don't let us take days off when our kids are sick. Or it could be that, I don't know, I'm working in a company for 5 years and I don't get any training. Or it could be that the communication is really bad and that there are conflicts between the coworkers, and so there's no teamwork. And of course, if you work in a company with no teamwork, it's very difficult. It's not a friendly nor healthy work environment. So, you know, these are like examples, and then you can decide, okay, if there is no teamwork, or if there are like conflicts boiling under the surface, you can think about, well, doing coaching, or like group coaching. You can do team buildings that are like specifically designed for solving conflicts, or to get like more involved with each other, to like kind of clear the air and then move on. And other things are, when we talk about, okay, I don't know, I'm working in a company for 5 years, never received any kind of training, to implement trainings, further educations, in-house workshops, and these kind of things. So basically, of course, the company has to invest in their employees. It's not that there are solutions that are all for free. I mean, creating a company, like the company values, and implement them, this is pretty low cost. I mean, of course, you have to sit down and think about what are really standing for, what are we going for, and where do we want to be in 3, 5, 10 years, and then live that. But when it comes to employee engagement and happiness, most of the things you can do, they involve investing, at least in bigger companies. But so there is no one fits at all solution. It really depends on the specific company, because depending on the size of the company and the sector the company is like located in, the circumstances can be very, very different, because we have companies that are very traditional, you know, they're like from generation to generation. So that, for instance, right now, all this remote work is a nightmare for them. They're not prepared. And then there are other companies like startups where most of the people are around 30. They're like super techie, and working from home is just like, okay, let's do it. So of course they're seeking also other things. I mean, people in their 50s, 60s, they're probably still a little bit more, they want to be secure, which means maybe a company that's more traditional with employees that are like a little older than the millennials. They look for benefits. So maybe it would be a good idea to review the benefits package the company has, and then see if we can maybe offer some extra insurances, or some health insurances, or other things that are like interesting for these employees. Because if you just have a health package, a benefit package that is like XYZ, because, you know, the gym pass and this and that, I mean, this doesn't work. I think most likely someone who's around 60 and getting a gym pass will be like, okay, well, you know, I don't really go to the gym, I prefer go for a walk with my dog. And the millennial will probably say, oh, great, the gym pass. Okay. So, so that's basically it.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's interesting. And well, there are extrinsic and intrinsic motivators, right? And well, those that are provided by the company normally are assumed like the new normal after giving those. So we need to work really on what makes people feel motivated themselves. No, we can facilitate, but we cannot really direct those situations. But well, we need to ensure that those things that are expected by them are there. Those that were agreed that by the contract or are agreed in the culture, as Mar has said. Excellent. I don't know, do we have something else here? Not in the chat, I think. Well, any other question, comment? Well, we are reaching the hour, so well, it has been a great session, Mark. Thanks a lot for this.
Thank you for joining.
Yes, thanks for that. And well, you know, in the website of the World Happiness Fest, I think that they are doing this almost 18 or 16 or 18 hours a day, because they are covering the whole world, and now the Agoras are also publishing, so you can follow that on the website. And for us in the Agora of Luxembourg, well, we will communicate how we're going to move forward with everything, the meditations, and well, we'll have a fantastic session on Thursday with Yelena as well. So, know in our social media as well. Perfect. Thanks everybody for your time. Have a wonderful evening, good continuation, and well, have a happy day and a happy life. We'll be in contact.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.